everyone, welcome back to today's video. In this video, I'll guide you step by step through sewing a slip dress. If you'd like to learn how to draft the pattern, please watch the video, Easy Drafting Pattern Slip Dress. I'll leave the link in the description box. In addition, I've published a detailed blog post covering the required materials, sewing tips, and free patterns. You just need to find your size and download the pattern. Make sure to set your printer to 100% scale. Print the first page and check that the test square measures 5 centimeters. Only then should you print the entire file. Fold the fabric right sides together and press it flat. Place the back pattern piece on the fabric and trace along the seam line. From the seam line, measure and mark 1.27 centimeters. This will be your seam allowance. I'm used to estimating, so I usually cut directly without measuring. But if you're not comfortable with that, I recommend carefully marking the seam allowance before cutting. Sew the center back seam. Press the seam allowance to one side. Then trim the inner seam allowance down to 0.3 centimeters, leaving the other side unchanged. Fold the longer seam allowance over the trimmed edge to enclose it and top stitch. This is the flat felled seam method. Press flat. Place the front pattern piece on the fabric, trace, and cut it out, remembering to add seam allowance. After cutting the front piece, use scissors to clip about 0.5 centimeters into the seam allowance at the side dart position. Sew the side dart and repeat on the other side. Press flat. Place the right side of the back bodice onto the right side of the fabric to cut the facing for the neckline and armhole. The facing should be about 3 centimeters wide. Repeat the same steps for the front facing. Next, cut a fabric strip approximately 3 centimeters wide. Fold both raw edges inward. Fold once more, then top stitch. Cut 2 short straps, each 5 centimeters long. Now thread the small strap through the ring. Since I don't have a ring, I'll use a slider instead. Insert the strap between the back bodice and the facing. Stitch along the edge following the seam allowance you added. For the front bodice, sew 2 shoulder straps approximately 40 to 45 centimeters long. Insert the 2 straps between the front bodice and the facing. Stitch along the edge following the seam allowance. Then trim the seam allowance down to 0.3 centimeters and clip close to the seam, about 0.15 centimeters away. Be careful not to cut into the stitching. Turn to the right side and press flat. Repeat the same steps for the back piece. Place the front and back bodices right sides together and sew the side seams. Then trim 1 seam allowance down to 0.3 centimeters, leaving the other side unchanged. Fold the longer seam allowance over the trimmed edge to enclose it and top stitch. Press flat. Next, finish the shoulder straps. Thread the strap through the slider for the first time. Insert it from the bottom up through the first slot. Pull it over the center bar, then bring it down through the remaining slot. At this point, the slider is hanging on the strap but not yet secured. Next, thread the strap through the slider at the back bodice. Pull the strap back toward the front, then thread it back into the slider for the second time. This is the locking step. Now the strap is sandwiched between the center bar and the layer of strap behind it, creating friction to hold the strap length in place. After adjusting the strap length, if you're using my website pattern, the finished strap length should be around 24 to 27 centimeters, depending on the wearer's height. Stitch to secure it. Next, finish the neckline and armhole facing. First, fold the raw edge inward and secure it with hand stitches. Then top stitch with sewing machine. Move on to the hem. I'll fold the hem twice and top stitch. Press all seams flat. I've now shown you all the steps to complete this slip dress. Overall, it's a very easy dress to sew. It only takes about 1 to 3 hours to finish. This is a minimalist design that is almost timeless and highly versatile. Simply changing the fabric can transform it into a comfortable house dress like the one I'm doing, or you can use linen or silk to create a dress for strolling around town, going to the beach, or even attending an elegant party. If you use these patterns, please don't hesitate to share photos of what you've made. Seeing your creations truly makes me happy and motivates me to continue designing and sharing new patterns. I hope this sewing tutorial is helpful for you. I wish you the best in sewing a beautiful dress for yourself. Thank you for being here with Zoe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.